What are some of the disadvantages? Further in the article, Chaiklin explains how there are some problems associated with the perfect vision when identifying a student zone. Chaiklin specifically states, with this kind of conception, a reader is likely to expect that a chapter about the zone of proximal development and interaction will explain A, how to identify a child's zone of proximal development for each learning task, B, how to teach in a way that will be sure to engage the zone of proximal development, which C, in a smooth and joyful way, will significantly accelerate learning. There are, however, some problems for this perfect vision. There are difficulties in the identification process for all three of the aspects listed in the context of use section: generality assumption, assistance assumption, and potential assumption. For generality assumption, Chaiklin asks an important question. If Vygotsky's intention was to use the concept for all kinds of learning, then why not name it the zone of proximal learning? Why does the term development appear in the concept? The use of the term development is not coincidental. That being said, Vygotsky places more importance on when in the developmental stage a specific skill is mastered versus development of a skill in any particular task, which can be confusing for people to understand. For assistance assumption, this aspect does not focus directly on the competence of the assistant or teacher, like one might assume, but instead, according to Chaiklin, in other words, it is not the competence per se of the more knowledgeable person that is important. Rather, it is to understand the meaning of that assistance in relation to a child's learning and development. The definition of assistance can easily be misinterpreted by someone if they do not understand Vygotsky's true definition of assistance. For potential assumption, Vygotsky explores the idea that the child might not have pleasure in the action they are completing, but that they still might have potential. According to Chaiklin, similarly as will be developed below, the potential is not a property of the child, as these formulations are sometimes interpreted, but simply an indication of the presence of certain maturing functions, which enables a situation that gives a potential for meaningful interventive action. Although Vygotsky's theory is full of explanations, examples, and reasoning, this theory can still be difficult to interpret in the exact way Vygotsky intended. According to Chaiklin, it seems more appropriate to use the term zone of proximal development to refer to the phenomenon that Vygotsky was writing about and find other terms, such as assisted instruction, scaffolding, etc., to refer to practices like teaching a specific subject matter concept, skill, and so forth. That statement from Chaiklin makes one believe that Vygotsky's theory is open for some interpretation of how us as educators best see the aspects put into use in our classroom. And that although our interpretations might not be exactly how Vygotsky envisioned the concepts being used, we can still benefit from the knowledge obtained, the analysis of his ideas, and the incorporation of the general concepts in our own classrooms.